Okay, this is another video on Spider-Man No Way Home commentary. Zero Pow Jimmy Pablo doing again my own opinion and thoughts of this scene. Now, if Apex does attack me, I will immediately go on YouTube, and the YouTube will respond immediately to know that this is fair use immediately, because there's no audio whatsoever, and this is my own breakdown explanation of how the scene is. So again, YouTube can immediately come after Apex, and then Apex will get in trouble if they do something like that of someone's fair use video. Alright, so let's go ahead and break down and get started with this. So you can see how they start with this shot with the three Spider-Mans, which is pretty cool. And the only issue that I will have is, again, it's a little bit like angled down. Now, there's videos I've seen before where they have shots where their little bit angle is down, like if some ship was like barely going up, and that's what you got in the result. So that's exactly what it looks like, similar to that. But rather than everything looks alright, you can tell the three Spider-Mans are showing their self on the screen, and then you got the three villains, which is perfect. They're right in the middle. You can tell their respective where they're at, and they keep them in focus in frame. And then you have them coming. Now, the only thing I'll have an issue with is this shot is completely in the edge. I would put it more, if you're gonna do this turn around them, I would go more for in the middle, so you're slowly turning them, so that way it keeps it right in the middle, so you could see how their fighting is. You can tell each of them are getting attacked. Some are off screen, and it works perfect, this shot, because you keep them in frame. You have another one right here where Sandman's coming after the other Spider-Man, and then the Lizard coming after as well, so it keeps them in frame. And then always keep it in the middle, which you want to keep the audience engaged. You could tell he got shot right there. And there you go, another shot where you can see the device, and of course the other Spider-Man looking at it. And then the Sandman and Spider-Man right there going inside, which works definitely. He's about to slingshot, and you can see his respective. That's when you could do something like that to keep the audience engaged. And in the corner he throws it, and it's always good to keep things in the middle. You always want to ensure that the audience are always going to be engaged, and they'll have to turn their heads left and right, including when you're doing shots like this, so you can see what's going on. And then this one is another good shot. I didn't have any problem with it. You want to keeping the audience to look at everything, what's going on in the front. The only issue that I'll have, again, is right here. I know you want to keep the electricity in frame, but I will start the person shooting in the middle, and then when he shoots, you start moving the camera so you can shoot the lightning, so that way it keeps them there. And then this is his respective, where he shoots all three Spider-Mans. They come through from the middle, which works. Now this one didn't have a problem, just the other one. And then getting a long, far away shot of what destruction will look like, which definitely it continues to keep it in frame and keep it going as much as possible. Now, when you're doing long shots like this, you get the audience more engaged of what you're trying to show for the audience to keep it going. And each of the shots that I could see, they wanted to ensure that you're doing medium shots, doing inside a long shot, like medium long shot. And then one of them, of course, he hates the most. He wants to put more attention towards it, and he keep it back into the middle of the frame for the audience to enjoy and experience. And of course, you could tell he shoots exactly the electricity into the back. And as he goes down, you could tell that they wanted to ensure that the frame stays in the middle, which is perfect in editing. And then of course Dr. Octavius shows up, which you saw both when it turns, which is cool. I like how they completely made two shots into one. You can tell he's right there, and then they turn to the other one, which completely works. And this works because even though he's not in the middle, you can see another one coming through when you're doing two view shots. And then if you're doing something from this person's perspective, This is when you can do something like left and right, because you can tell, you keep the audience to know what he's doing, about to do, and that's exactly how it works. While other ones, when you're doing shots like, I want to like get this person looking at somebody, that's with one person's perspective view, that's when you have to keep it in the middle. Otherwise, it's just gonna disengage the audience, or they have to turn their head in order to see what's going on, and that's, you don't want that at all. But this one works definitely, and that's what makes it best. Then here you can tell his own respective. This also works because you want to keep in touch with what the heck's going on, so you want to keep them engaged. How only issue I have is when you're doing something like this, you want to make sure that you might want to tilt it a little bit up, so that way you could see exactly more of him and not way towards the bottom edge. Otherwise, he's gonna look like something like a little tiny a pimp, like a little tiny, like one of those like little statues right down there, and then all this stuff going on. If you remember those drawings, I think a lot of people done them. They have something right here and all this stuff going on around there, so that's exactly what you want to be careful with, not to make it too small. And then you get this works perfectly, keeping it right in focus frame. This I would go more towards the middle, so that way you get his perspective, because he's way back here. Again, they have to turn their heads, because this is what it will look like if you just kept in the middle, just half and half, and that's kind of breaking down a bit. This perfect. They kept it in the middle for the lizard, and they kept it in focus view. They kept it in 2 frames to ensure they give the audience what they've seen, and he went back to normal. And how his transformation kept it like what is happening. Now this reason why I didn't give it a negative is because they wanted to see how his transformation is going to change his entire skin, and that's why he looks like that. Of course, you see another one where it's like you have each shot showing every character, and then the Green Goblin, how he comes in there, always keeping things in the middle, which works perfectly. He looks more into the side, if you saw that shot. But again, when you're doing things that are fast, you have to always, make sure you make those adjustments. This one had no problem. And then as he goes through, he takes it off. Now for some reason, this scene right here, you could tell his tentacles are moving towards more like if they extended like a really long one. And sometimes it happens where you think someone is using something medium, and then all of a sudden through a faraway shot it's extremely long. So you got to be careful while you're editing to make sure that you keep it at a good distance, because if it's not, people are going to realize, or are going to start to see that something doesn't look right with this picture, or something looks completely off. Like, when I noticed this, I was like, didn't he have, because I noticed this off the bat, I'm like, didn't he have a little bit smaller tentacles, because it looks really, really long. So just make sure when you're editing, keep an eye on that, because it looks really bad when you get it way too long. It looks like he's about to extend his arms, and the audience will capture that, and they will realize that when it comes to those scenes. But rather than that, everything you're trying to explain the story, when you're doing something like this, it will work, though just they have to watch out for that. And that's it. So this scene entirely, I want to give this 8 out of 10. The only reason why I would go for something like that is because there were so much errors, but rather than that, the shots were nailing. And although I did like each scene, what they're trying to do, they still have to make sure they watch out for those errors. They have to look out for each editing that they're supposed to be putting in towards those angles. And rather than that, everything else is okay. There was only, I think, one typical thing that was kind of changed with that scene, but rather than that, I already explained it, so that's all I have to say for this. If you want to leave any comments down below in this video, you're welcome to do so. Subscribe to this channel, and I'll see you on another video from your Zero Pal, Jimmy Pablo. This is on the Orlock 425, signing out. Bye-bye.